Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Wednesday, the 10th of July, run in association with KUMB.com. So today we are going to be looking at the reason that we could have new potential interest in West Ham shares, our training camp, and a debate about a potential signings controversial attitude. Let's go. Yes, West Ham Network. For your first story, a development has been reported in France which could make West Ham a far more attractive investment. So as we know, Vanessa Gold shares are for sale, and Karen Brady recently travelled to the Middle East looking for potential investors. There were also rumours recently of Shaq being interested in getting a minority stake, but that would have been a non-controlling stake in the same way that LeBron James has one in Liverpool, even if it did go ahead. So it's not really much of a news story or anything we need to worry about in terms of the direction of the club. So essentially, we still have these shares up for sale, and the news is that Ligue might be offering a helping hand when it comes to rounding up some interest for us. This is because they have been struggling for a while to secure a broadcast partner, and they're currently at risk of starting next season without any domestic broadcaster, none at all. And with broadcast revenue being such a big part of clubs' income, this could see 8 clubs at risk of declaring bankruptcy as a direct result of not getting any TV revenue over the next 5-year rights cycle. So it's basically like a 5-year package. This is the equivalent of BT, Sky, none of them wanting to show the Premier League. They're like, nah, we'll be okay. And it's got massive impact. So Liga has seen Mbappe and Messi leave, and they've gone from wanting a £1 billion TV deal to struggling to get anything at all. Excuse me. And with the lack of viewership and a huge decline in clubs' income, it's likely that investors could pull the plug and look to invest their money in other leagues, such as the Premier League. Because if you imagine, if nobody is showing a Premier League game, suddenly no one wants to invest, no one wants sponsorships, no one wants any of that because there's no visibility for brands. So everyone pulls the plug. So we could be in a position where right now we see people start to take their money back out of that league. And you see where I'm going here. But basically, it means we could have some very rich investors with an interest in football business looking to put their money back into new projects. And we just so happen to have some West Ham shares that they could buy. And it was reported recently that West Ham could be worth more than 795 million based on our current figures and income. But yeah, just an interesting one to think about, because it could mean that there's a lot more investors that are, it's difficult to obviously round up someone that can afford West Ham. It's a lot of money, and you have to get a very particular person that's happy to work in a particular way. It's always a risk with football clubs as well, and because we've done quite well in Europe, we're relatively high price tag wise, but it's also a decent risk because we could decline, but we could also get far better, as with any investment in football. But basically, we could have some rich people looking potentially at investing in West Ham as a result of this. So thank you very much, Ligue 1. Now for your second story, the hard work has continued for West Ham as the training camp in Austria progresses. Kudus has joined the team following international duty with Ghana, and Lopetegui doesn't look like he's taking any prisoners. He's focusing on ball work, tactical adjustments and small-sided games in 30-degree heat. From the pictures, they're all carrying weighted things. They look like they are definitely working hard. They've been also busy doing double sessions. So that includes evenings in the gym where they've been working on strength and conditioning. And they're getting prepared for the season, which is what we want to see. We want to see them working hard. And from the pictures that the club shared, it certainly looks as though spirits are high at the same time. But could we see improved fitness for our return to the Premier League? That would be nice to see, wouldn't it? Because one of the biggest problems we had last season was that nobody was really moving off the ball. Was it fitness? Was it tactics? Was it just laziness? Nobody knows. But having that extra bit of fitness can only be a good thing. So it would be a pleasant surprise indeed if we did put in enough groundwork to have improved fitness. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am so glad that we brought Lopetegui in as early as we did, because having this time for him to work with the team, like we're seeing in Austria here, and do transfer business with one clear vision and know where we're going ahead, it's invaluable. And I think it's going to benefit us so much because we can actually put a plan in place and execute that plan with the players we need, the tactics we need, the training, the pre-season that we need, everyone getting used to each other. There's no one getting thrown in at the deep end. Oh, it's good. It's very exciting. And finally, West Ham have submitted more than one bid for striker John Duran, with the latest being worth 35 million plus a 10% add-on clause. But there is a lot of talk about his attitude, which is emerging, and that's what we're going to be chatting about today. So Villa are keen to recover some money to stay on the right side of PSR rules, but there may be an additional advantage for them of getting rid of the 20-year-old. And that sounds like, simply put, he might be a bit of a handful. So reports have highlighted his attitude and said that he's basically made life quite difficult for the coaching staff at Villa. Graham Bailey told Hammers News that the kid has a real attitude on him, and that's why Unai Emery wants him out. And a big part of this seems to be that he wanted to get more game time ahead of a very informed Watkins, which was obviously not going to happen. But it's bringing up the question of whether or not he's the right type of player for us, because at just 20, if you've got a huge ego in a bad way, I worry that it's not the type of player that we want coming in and just disrupting or upsetting anything. You've got a new manager investing money in a new striker, so you'd like to think that they will start. But if toys are getting thrown out of the pram, should you get dropped, or it's a slow start and we sort of ease him in, it could cause issues within the squad, which is not something that we want. Obviously, I think it's good that he's ambitious and he wants to play. It's just a question of, I guess, how disruptive his ambition is. And that's something that remains to be seen. It would be interesting to hear, I guess, an insider's point of view from Emery's side in terms of how difficult he has been to deal with and whether it's justified, because there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. And I know that a lot of the youngsters probably are like over ambitious and just want to go flying in and play and get game time. Understandably, they've got the whole careers ahead of us, and this is the time for them to capitalize on that. But we need good eggs at West Ham. We don't want one bad egg can ruin the whole basket of eggs, being players. But again, if we're interested in him, we need to actually act quite quickly, because Chelsea and Spurs are among the names linked with Duran recently. So there is London club interest. And I'm sure that this just gives Steiten and Lopetegui some decisions to make, because he's highly rated and he's one that you're almost investing in his potential rather than what we've already seen him do. He sounds like he wants more game time. He sounds like, well, he's a striker. We need a striker. And he is also said to be wanting big wages to move. So there's a lot of considerations there. So we're going to have to stay tuned for that one. So there you have it. Those have been your Hammers headlines for today. Watch this afternoon's video, though, while I was chatting about the West Ham captaincy debate. Who could be West Ham's new captain? Why? Who do I think should be West Ham's new captain? Who do you think should be West Ham's new captain? Drop us a comment in there as well. But we want to get these conversations properly going. We want debates. I want opinions. In all the videos I do, drop me comments with your thoughts. I don't care if you agree with me, disagree with me. I want to hear what you think. So let's get this conversation properly going. We've got really fun content coming up as the next season approaches, and the next season, you're not going to have seen anything like it. So stay tuned. Till next time, have an amazing day. Come on, you Irons.